Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? Daniel Jones. Let's go. As you can see, the title of this video is the Daniel Jones episode. And today, we're just going to take a deep dive into the enigma of Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones has become a hot topic, in sports media, especially within the Giants fan base. And right now, I can honestly say that we're looking at like a 50-50 split on how the fan base views Daniel Jones. It's not for no reason. There's definitely many reasons why, people fall on different sides of this debate. And like today, I'm just going to go over a few of those things, just to list some of the facts and stats that go into some of these views that people have, for the starting quarterback of the New York Giants, Daniel Jones. So bear with me as I break down these stats and facts, get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Daniel Jones. As I do this, I'm just going to post some tweets from Giants fan base, some for Daniel Jones, some against Daniel Jones, and you can just get a pretty good idea of what people think on either side of this debate. Like I said, this is via Twitter. If you see yourself on there, great, man. That means I liked your tweet and I thought it was valuable enough to share, or either entertaining enough to share in this video. But you can see just the different feelings people have, towards Daniel Jones. Some good, some bad, some funny, and some from some reputable, businesses. For example, PFF. But again, Daniel Jones has become an enigma to the New York Giants fan base. And without further ado, let me go ahead and get into the good. Now, obviously, the good is Daniel Jones' size. Pause. His size. The man is 6'5", 230 pounds. Great size for a quarterback. Good stature, strong. When you see him, he looks strong. They made comments about his legs and everything like that. Perfect. So the guy has the size. He also has the arm strength. A lot of people were down on his arm strength. I don't think there's any issues with his arm strength at all. Athletic ability. The man can run. He is fast, but he is not quick, but he is fast and he can get the spots. Now, also, something I considered good is his toughness, and he is tough to a fault, in my opinion. I think after the injuries of last season, the neck injury, the concussion, I think he should, get out of bounds more when he does decide to run. And also, please slide, Daniel. Just please slide. He's tough. He will stand in the pocket. He will try to deliver that ball. Now, something to go along with that is that offensive line. And we all know, as Giants fans, that this offensive line has been broken for years, even prior to Daniel Jones getting here. We begged and begged for the organization to get Eli Manning a competent O-line, and we're still stuck in the same debate. Although I think we have solved that this year. For the most part, we pace it together. O-line, we have two staples on the edges with Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. I like the pickup of Glowinski. And then, we have Feliciano at center. And these are all projected starters. And possibly Lemieux, Garcia, or even the rookie Izudu in the left guard spot. So, with that being said, I think this will be the best line Daniel Jones has been behind his whole career. And also, if his weapons stay healthy, Lord willing, he can have a positive season. Or at least we can get to see what he actually can bring to the table for the Giants. Now, getting into the bad. Now, and these are just my personal opinions. One major bad that I have for Daniel Jones is his pocket awareness. I think he lacks pocket awareness. A lot of those sacks that he's getting, of course, like I said before, the O-line is bad, but he's holding on to the ball too long. Also, he is not seeing some of these blitzes that are coming. And And when you get hit and you don't see it coming, that causes 2 fumbles. But like I said, we'll get into the stats a little bit later. Also, I think he lacks a little bit of anticipation. He tends to hold on to the ball, and like I said, this is my opinion, a little too long. And you can see in the comments that Dable had made, talking about he wants him to let it loose. And my interpretation of that is he needs to go ahead and trust what he sees and get some anticipation on that pass. The guy might not be open yet, but you expect him to get open by the time he gets out of his cut. So just a little anticipation. I think he's lacking that. He does pat that ball, a couple times before he gets it out of there. And like I said, with this previous O-line has not bode well to Daniel Jones. And again, also another bad is the O-line he was playing behind. And we all get that. Hopefully we got that resolved. Now, let's get into the ugly. Now, the ugly, obviously, is going to be the turnovers. And I believe the stat was something crazy like 49 turnovers in 37 games, which is like, wow, okay. That is a ridiculous number. I will say that a lot of those turnovers did happen in the rookie year, which even though his rookie year he did have the most turnovers, I think he was the most productive as well under Pat Shurmur and that scheme. Another ugly that I have is his playmaking ability. Now we all see the guy, he's fast on design runs, but how is he when the play breaks down? And that's when he takes a lot of those sacks. He doesn't know what to do with the ball. And so I don't think he, even though he has that athletic ability, I don't believe that he has the playmaking ability. We've seen times where he's been able to step up in a pocket and be able to take off and find a scheme and get some good yards off of that. Again, not getting down or sliding when he needs to, taking unnecessary punishment. But there's times where he's been able to do that, but not enough, because obviously the pressure he's had over the years has been ridiculous, and he needs to be able to sidestep, step up, step back, things you do in the pocket that can make the play last just a little bit longer, especially when your O-line is not giving you the protection that you need. Check downs, progressions, a lot of that goes into the scheme with Jason Garrett and the stick routes, not leaving much up to the imagination, keeping these defenses tight in the box. It's just been a crazy show or a crazy experience, I would believe, for Daniel Jones. Not taking anything, not taking the onus of what's going on away from him. It's just saying that I can see where some of these issues are, and depending on the coaching and how things are going, it's just a little bit wild. So next thing I'm going to do is just get into some of the stats from Daniel Jones, and then what makes people believe that Daniel Jones can still be a franchise quarterback. So let's go all the way back into 2019, his debut. The season we were 0-2. They benched Eli, and we go into Tampa Bay. And that debut game in 2019, in my opinion, has caused the rift. That started the rift between Giants fans. He was great that game. He had a game-winning drive on his debut. We all remember him running in that touchdown to win the game in Tampa Bay. And then the following week, we played Washington, and he had a good game against Washington, and we won that game as well. So in his debut, and obviously in his first 2 games, he's 2-0. The fan base is behind him. The fan base is looking at Dave Gettleman like he might have been right. He actually might have been right with this guy. And then after that, we get into the whole 50-50 thing. You got splashes here, awful times there, and just a roller coaster of games, ups and downs for Daniel Jones. And the enigma begins in season 1. And then so just the stats for season 1, like I said, the win-losses were he was 3-9 as a starter. He had a total of 3,027 yards, with his completion percentage was 61.9%. Touchdowns was 24, interceptions 12, and also, we had the 19 fumbles. So that's in 12 games played his rookie season. In 2020, the controversy also begins now because in the 2020 draft, we went with Andrew Thomas when Justin Herbert was still on the board. And again, this is another place where that rift began with Giants fans, because a lot of people had an idea or either a gut feeling of what Herbert could be. And we see what Herbert is now, and we just think, what if, right? Like the Marvel what if. What if we would have did the Arizona thing and drafted Justin Herbert a year after drafting Daniel Jones? But like I said, this is what if, and we're not in that universe. So in 2020 was a year Sherman was fired. We picked up Joe Judge. The whole pandemic, everything was just a wild season. And we went. Daniel Jones went 5-9 in that 2020 season. Total yards were 2,943 yards, so a little bit less than what he did his rookie year. His completion percentage went up to 62.5 from 61.9 the previous year, but his touchdowns were 11. So he had 13 less touchdowns. His interceptions went from 12 to 10 in 2020, so that's a little bit of an improvement. And he played 14 games out of the 16 games. So now we're stuck in a position now where we're thinking, okay, we have one good year, or what we think was a positive year for Daniel Jones' rookie season outside of the fumbling. And then we have 2020 where, okay, well, what guy do we have here? We don't know who we have. And then we go into 2021, and for a lot of people, 2021 was the make it or break it year for Daniel Jones. At least a person like me, I fall into that category of 2021 being the prove it year for Daniel Jones. Okay, so now we have the second year with Jason Garrett as the OC, second year with Joe Judge. So we have some continuity with the coaching staff. We had some expectations coming out of that 2020 season. Even though we were 6-10, we had a pretty good vibe. A lot of people thought that Joe Judge was the guy because of how the games were played. We were in a lot of games. We lost. We had some tough losses, and there was some optimism going into 2021, and then the whole lid blew off. Okay, so in 2021, Daniel Jones as a starter went 4-7. Okay, so 4-7, that is 11 games out of 17 games. All right, so the man missed 6 games. Now, the yards in that season were 2,428 yards. So all right, now we're starting to take a step back again. Now, despite the total amount of yards, his completion percentage went up to 64.3. Touchdowns go down from 11 to 10, but also the interceptions go down from 10 to 7. All right, so again, this is 11 games played, and at this point in time, the experiment is over. For a lot of people, 50% of the fan base or more, the experiment is over. Let's go find us a quarterback, and that's what a lot of people are thinking. And then I don't know what happened after that. Joe Judge gets fired. We bring in Brian Dable. We bring in a new GM, Joe Shane. You know what I mean? And there's a new vibe in the building. And then John Mara speaks, talking about how we didn't give Daniel Jones, the best opportunities, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now that just validates the whole point of giving Daniel Jones another chance. And here we are in year 4. Okay, one positive thing that did happen is Joe Shane decided not to pick up the 5th-year option. So this year is absolutely the make it or break it year for Daniel Jones. Now, going into the season, there are some expectations because of the new scheme. Some of the players we drafted and brought in, the talent, the offensive line is better on paper. The defense, we got some pass rushers in there with the rookie Kayvon Thibodeau. teaming up with Azeez Ojulari, Leonard Williams, a real Justin Ellis, Winks defense. There's some optimism getting ready for this 2022 season. But the big question mark is, who is Daniel Jones going to be? Will he be more of the rookie that we saw? Will it be more of the same from the 2020 season or the 2021 season? And that's what we need to figure out. So next thing I want to do is I just want to put up some comparisons within the NFC East of the other projected starting quarterbacks. And you can see that he's not far behind percentage-wise with the other guys in this division. And when you look at that and you think about the division as a whole, do the Giants have a chance this year? And I'm leaning towards, we're building. My expectations are low. Do I expect us to be competitive? Yes. Do I expect us to win the division? Not necessarily. But is it impossible? And with that, I will say, no, it's not impossible. Because if we can get everybody clicking, if the defense can get to where they want to get, and Daniel Jones is a mix between the rookie year with being able to throw the ball deep and making some plays, and then also with the previous 2 years, less turnovers, less interceptions, less fumbles, then we might have a chance. So it all depends on which Daniel Jones we see in the 2022 season. So just to be corny, will the real Daniel Jones please stand up? And we will get to learn that soon once the season begins. And like I said, there's a lot of bright spots here. We look at the talent on the offense, receiver room when healthy, should be able to compete, especially in this division. Saquon Barkley when healthy and behind a better offensive line, we'll see the best version, or hopefully we should be able to see the best version of Daniel Jones and the whole entire offense, going into the season and for the season. And I can't wait. And that's where my expectations are. As I said in a previous video, my gauge for wins is 6 to 8 wins. And I fall at 7. Now, can we win 9, 10, 11 games? Well, let me take that back. Can we win 9 games? Can we possibly win 10 games? It's possible. It's absolutely possible, especially the way the schedule is set now. There is a chance, if we catch some momentum here and there, that we can actually win a few games. But like I said, my gauge is between 6 to 8 wins. Anything over 8 is a bonus to me. But I just need to see some improvement on the actual games being played, what we call the eye contest, what I see with my eyes. And we've seen over the past few years that this has not been watchable football. This is Pee-wee type football in an NFL league. And I just hope that Brian Dable, Mike Kafka can get this offense looking the way it wants. We drafted playmakers, Tony. We have Wan'Dale Robinson now. So hopefully, it looks a lot better in the 2022 season. But this is my episode, the Daniel Jones episode, my opinions, shared with some facts, some stats, and also some comments from the Twitterverse of how the fan base views Daniel Jones as a whole. Again, this is Big Dash Nose, New York Giants football, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.